What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again with a week 2 game preview and score prediction. My Alabama Crimson Tide will be at home against the ULM Warhawks, Louisiana Monroe. I know everybody think this game should be a blowout. I do too. And I know my Alabama Crimson Tide has way more talent than ULM. But you can't win games solely on talent. That was proven last week against Florida State. But guess what? That was last week. It's time to move on. We done dwelled on that long enough. And when I say we, I'm talking about Alabama fans. Yeah, we done dwelled on that long enough. That was last week. This week is this week. Just like last year was last year and this year is this year. We got to move on. Put that behind us. All right. We got 11 more games ahead of us. All right. And hopefully we'll see more good than bad. And hopefully Coach Kalen DeBoer can get this thing turned around. Hopefully he can get it turned around. Because if he get it turned around, all the crap that's been coming my way, I'm going to dish it right back out. You can believe that. You can believe that. We got some tough games on the schedule. That's fine and dandy. But I'm going to have faith in my Alabama Crimson Tide that we can get it done or that they can get it done. I'm going to have faith. I know they had a lackluster performance last week, but guess what? All that can change. All of that can change. It can be turned around. But anyway, ULM is coming off a 29-0 victory over St. Francis. Whoever that is. I don't know who it is. I done heard of them. But I ain't never took the time to do any research on St. Francis. All I know, they got a 29-0 butt whooping last week at the hands of ULM. Anyway, as far as ULM, last week, they gained 311 yards on the ground. And my Alabama Crimson Tide have issues stopping the run, or they did last week, okay? Luckily, ULM don't have a running quarterback, and that works in our favor. All right. As far as their best wide receiver, Braylon McReynolds, or their best running back, Braylon McReynolds, 11 rushes for 113 yards. Everybody else last week in the run game didn't have over 50 yards. You had Tyler Reed with 47 yards and Dorian Lewis with 43 yards. Okay, that was their three leading rushers. As far as the wide receiver core, non-existent. Leading wide receiver, Tyler Griffin, 3 catches, 32 yards. And then you had Jake Godfrey with 2 catches, 22 yards. As a matter of fact, ULM only passed for 123 yards in the game against St. Francis. So I think we need to be more concerned with stopping the run against ULM, which we should have been doing that last week against Florida State. But hey, it is what it is. As I said, we can get better. Things can change. Things can change. And just like, hey, Nick Saban said it, teams make their biggest leap or biggest improvements from week 1 to week 2. So hopefully that will be the case. Hopefully for my Alabama Crimson Tide, this is what it took for them to see that teams are not going to lay down anymore when it comes to Alabama. They should have been seeing that. But anyway, ain't too much to talk about with ULM. I just think we're going to beat them. And I think we're going to beat them handily. I don't care how bad things went in Tallahassee last week. I don't care. All right. But I just feel like we're going to win this game and win it handily. And when it comes to my Alabama Crimson Tide, first of all, I want to give kudos to Ty Simpson with last week's performance. I know a lot of people don't feel that Ty Simpson didn't play his best, which he didn't. But we had fans called saying that Ty Simpson need to be benched. Somebody else need to replace him. I don't think so. All right. I want to give kudos to Jeremy Bernard and Parker Bressler. Those guys came to play. Those guys came to play. And there's a lot of guys like Bray Hubbard need to step up. Ryan Williams. Well, Ryan Williams, he will be out this game. He won't be playing in this game, and I agree. All right. I don't know about Isaiah Horton. He went out with an injury last week, and I think somebody else went out in an injury. But I know went out with an injury. But I know Ryan Williams, he won't be playing in this game. What else? What else with player personnel? I don't know about Jaden Roberts. I don't know. They say he was ready last week, but he didn't play. So I don't know if he'll be playing in this game. But even without those guys, we should be good enough to beat ULM. And I mean beat them badly, handily. We need to come out against ULM and make a statement. I know it's just ULM. I know it. But we can still make a statement in this game. Still. All right. But Bray Hubbard, you got to step up. You got to step up. Everybody on the field for us Saturday need to give maximum effort. Maximum effort. It ain't even about the loss. It's about the way Alabama lost on Saturday. This past Saturday. It ain't about the loss. It's just about the way they lost. The lack of effort. That's what it's more about for me. You know what I'm saying? So if everybody give maximum effort, we should win this game by a long, long margin. I feel like with our running backs against ULM, matter of fact, another thing, ULM, they held St. Francis to only 131 total yards. Ain't no way they can do that to Alabama. Ain't no way. With our running backs, I feel like we can at least rush for 150, 160 yards. At least, if not more. I want to see the 200-yard mark. I think we can go through the air for about 320. That's what I'm looking at. I know a lot of y'all might not agree with me after the performance of Alabama last week. That's fine and dandy. That's fine and dandy. But I choose to believe in my Alabama Crimson Tide against ULM and every other team that we got on our schedule. Now, if we come out against ULM and look like we did last week, then hey, ain't nothing else I can say. Ain't nothing else I can say. But as of right now, I think my Alabama Crimson Tide will win this game handily. I mean handily. Now, last week, as far as my Alabama Crimson Tide, let me get to it. But anyway, last week, 341 total yards for Alabama. 254 yards passing, 87 rushing. Now we got 254 yards passing. I think it was on 43 passing attempts. Ty Simpson had 2 touchdowns through the air. Not too bad. 254, 2 touchdowns. That's not too bad. But we could have had more. All right. There was times he held on to the ball too long, and there was times that the offensive line didn't do their job. Got to get all of that cleaned up, and it can be done. It can be done. And I think it will be done. We only had 87 rushing yards. We got to do better. We need to run the ball more. All right. We can't abandon the run game too early. And that's in any game. Any game. Our defense gave up 230 yards rushing to Florida State. That shit can't happen. Not just against ULM, which I don't think it'll happen against ULM, even though they had 311 yards rushing last week. I don't think it'll happen. All right. So, as I said, I think my Alabama Crimson Tide going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it handily. I mean handily. Come on now. Let's get it. Let's get it. If you're an Alabama fan, let's get up and support our Alabama Crimson Tide, even though we didn't like what we seen in week 1. That was week 1. This is week 2. We just got to take it week by week. That's what we're going to have to do. Take it week by week. Let's leave week 1 in week 1 and move on to week 2. And when week 2 is over, let's leave week 2 in week 2. So, hey, it is what it is. Alabama can right this ship. They can right the ship. Coach Kalen DeBoer can right this ship. He can right the ship. Just remember, Notre Dame from last year lost to NIU in week 2. And what did they end up at? A national championship game. You look at Ohio State from 2014. They had a week 2 loss. And what happened? And in that, they had a week 2 loss, and they lost by double digits. I believe it was 14 points then, too. And what happened in 2014? They wind up in the end as national champions. So Coach Kalen DeBoer can right this ship. And those 2 instances just inspire old KB to keep believing in his Alabama Crimson Tide. Yeah. Coach Kalen DeBoer can right this ship. I know I said I wasn't going to call him coach no more, but I can't help it. I can't help it. He's my head coach. He's the head coach of my Alabama Crimson Tide. And with that being said, I'm going to say my Alabama Crimson Tide will beat ULM by a score of 42-13. And I'm giving daggone ULM 13 points. I'm surprised at my own damn self. But anyway, my Alabama Crimson Tide will beat ULM 42-13. That's my final score, and I'm sticking with it. And one more thing I want to talk about. SEC Network. Peter Burns, I think that's his name. Yeah, SEC Network analyst Peter Burns says my Alabama Crimson Tide losing to Florida State is the best thing that could have happened to them. He just might be right. He just might be right. And I'm looking at this article on the Sporting News. Okay, that's the website. But let me tell you what he said. With fans across the nation, while fans across the nation are celebrating and declaring the Bama dynasty dead, the SEC Network Peter Burns thinks this loss was the best thing that ever happened to this team. He says, everybody in college football outside of Tuscaloosa is loving what happened to the Crimson Tide in week 1. But here is the reality. The embarrassing and pathetic loss to Florida State is only going to be a good thing for this program. Because now you're going to find out who's real on this team. Burns said he's not just talking about the players, but the coaches as well. How are you going to respond when you get shoved in the locker and embarrassed? Who's going to fight and who's going to wilt? You dang on right. Who's going to fight and who's going to wilt and bow down? Burns said that the loss should be a lesson to players that the Alabama logo no longer strikes fear in opponents. He says that teams now see it as an opportunity to defeat the Tide because they are wounded. And wounded my Alabama Crimson Tide is. It's up to Kalen DeBoer to learn this lesson as well. These are your guys. You need to figure it out. You damn right he need to figure it out. And he's going to get it figured out. Watch what I tell you, man. I know I done told you a lot and been wrong, but I strongly believe this. He going to figure it out, man. He ain't got no choice. He ain't got no choice. He also said that fans are crazy if they think that Alabama is about to fire DeBoer. He says that they are stuck with him for at least the next 4 years. You need a whooping like that to realize you are no longer the hunted Alabama. But you need to be the hunter. Yeah, we need to be the hunter. We need to get hungry, baby. Play like we starving. Yeah, play like we starving. But anyway, Burns also added it would be interesting to see if and how quickly the Crimson Tide can learn from this loss. It will be interesting. And just because we go out and beat the brakes off ULM won't mean nothing. We got another game for next week. We got to stay focused. And I agree with Peter Burns said. This might just be the best thing that happened to this team, and it needed to happen early in week 1 so they can get the minds right. So Coach Kalen DeBoer can get his mind right. And all the rest of the coaches. You're damn right. We got to move on from week 1. And I think this team going to do that. And I think they're going to do it in epic fashion. And I think they're going to come back and surprise a lot of people. And if we go on and beat ULM and Wisconsin in week 3 and go on that bye week and come back and beat the Georgia Bulldogs, oh, people will start believing again. I'm telling you, the haters will start believing again. And everybody who's laughing at Alabama will be believing in this Alabama Crimson Tide team again. Watch. If all of that happens, if all that lines up, people to start believing again. So it is what it is. As I said, my Alabama Crimson Tide 42, ULM 13. Now y'all be blessed. And remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. And roll damn Tide.